Anyway, so let's have a look. What kind of support's he getting for that golden dome of his? And it is interesting that he's calling it a golden dome. Big nod to maybe a new money system too that's gold backed. So here we've got the Tower. That's interesting. That's a Revelation card. And the Two of Swords. I think it's really close to being done, you guys. I really do. The Tower is like a revelation in how close we are, or maybe even why we need it. Maybe he's gone and told all of these countries just how much, like there seemed to be a potential threat, is what I was getting it as in the cards, that they knew about and they needed to build this thing. They probably known about this for years. Like it would have taken years to get it to even the point I believe it is at, this golden dome. There's fours around this. I wonder if he's still shopping out the idea. I don't think he's got world support yet. He's still shopping it out. Some of the leaders he's not maybe telling the whole truth to. So we've got the Magician here and the 5. He might even play like some of them will disappoint and not sign up, but I don't think they really have a choice, honestly. These are capitulated governments anyway, and I believe they're going to go ahead and do it anyway, whether they have. I feel like they might show in the theater of politics that some of these people won't be on board with his dome, or it'll go back and forth. But I believe they're going to go ahead and it's already a done deal. So I feel like this is already something that's a done deal, and the theater might play out that he doesn't get full support. But I feel like everybody that needed to sign on already signed on. So I don't think I feel like it's already a done deal, but they're going to play out some theater that some people are hesitating or some countries are hesitating. So once again, like I'm going to say, a lot of what happens in the details of mainstream media telling you what's happening in politics, honestly, I get actually bored, even agitated listening to the stories because it's such BS. And I feel like most of this stuff is theater when it comes to these details. And maybe you're getting some signals and comms from what they're saying, but a whole lot of it's a whole waste of time. Okay, so there we go. I can't stand that with like wasting my time like that with those little details about, oh, this and this is happening in the world. Mainstream media is telling you all of these political moves are going on when most of them have already happened, and or complete made up stories just to get your attention or keep your attention somewhere so you don't notice something else. It's just so annoying. Okay, so let's have a look at, is Australia under a threat from China? So on again, off again, we've been hearing that Australia is in really big trouble, like where China is basically trying to take over or already has largely taken over Australia. I'm wondering, is that literally the case? Is it right now under threat too? They're calling them frenemies. And there's always these scares about China's basically being like, actually Australia is being sold out by their own government to China. That's another way they put it sometimes. And those are the kind of stories that circulate. I'm wondering how much truth there is to that. How much truth is there to the fact that China is a huge threat to Australia? With all the, like I just mentioned, theater of war, how much of that's true? So this will be China towards Australia, and then down the middle will give us more details here. So that's the China card. Interesting. It's got a 5, and 5s are temporary setbacks. And they're agitation kind of cards, and there's irritations and inner fighting, and even external fighting. And sometimes it can talk about war, technically ongoing wars. Okay, but it's interesting because it is a minor arcana. It's not a major arcana. So it doesn't look like an actual major threat right? Even though they're making it look like it is. And they've been talking about it for a long time. Now we've got the Eight of Pentacles. That's Australia. Australia looks like it's got it 80% handled. Okay. So I feel like what you think is who's governing Australia and who really is are two different things. I feel like Australia's government capitulated and is now playing out all of these, external, this theater of politics. Okay. Just to show you what compromised deep state players were actually in place and who usually has been running Australia, New Zealand, we can add that as well. Okay, who's been running these kind of, actually it's been all over the world that all of these countries were run by deep state. All of our countries were run by deep state placed people. All of these politicians are weffers, deep staters, and they're all being outed by the White Hat Alliance. Meanwhile, the White Hat Alliance has placed all kinds of like mask wearing people in there. Some people say clones. I'm not sure about that. I'd go more with doubles and mask wearers. Okay. And they've placed them in. And if you do actually see any of the original people, the original high up in politics, the ones you love to hate, those ones. Okay, the really bad actors like Carney, they might be the real person, but they're playing a part. Okay, so they've been given a script by the White Hat Alliance. So just a reminder that I've been saying that for years. Okay, so if you're getting your panties in a twist about what your government's doing, try to remember that every time I get asked that, and I do look at it so many times, I always get the same thing. Okay, these guys are playing, a part. And they're just there to out what scumbags these guys really are. And that's why it's so outrageous and egregious what they're doing. Okay, that's why these unbelievable laws are being passed and you can't fathom how many rights are being taken away. They're doing it on purpose. So and it's not to say don't stand up and go against the tyranny. Absolutely do. Okay, talk about it, share things, wake people up if you can or feel the need to. Just use your social media, share memes. Of course, doesn't mean sit on your laurels, but really, I feel like this is a big play for the normies to wake up, or a larger part of the population to wake up. Okay, so let's keep going here. So they don't look like that big of a threat. And we've got the moon card in the middle. So there's a lot of deep undercover things going on under the surface of what appears or what they're saying. So, and a lot of those really big threats have already been eliminated, maybe even processed with that card in the middle. Okay, and we've got this PSYOP card. So a lot of what you see going on politically, Australia, and I think New Zealand too, because it feels like those two countries are really tied together in a lot that's happening in that neck of the woods. I feel like our PSYOPs, just like I've been saying, you're seeing things play out just to really wake up people and put the idea back here somewhere that something's not as it seems on the surface and there's something going on. So when things get revealed, it'll be a lot easier for these people to actually digest if it doesn't come just right out of the blue, if they've already had some interesting PSYOPs play out. So it gets planted back there somewhere in some part of their brain. And I think that the Alliance really knows how to work these things. Psychological operations are what I think. The Alliance leads the psychological operation. That's my opinion. That's what I've been getting in the cards. And I feel like it's absolutely already been handled. Okay. And there's not going to be, China isn't going to be a threat. I don't even think they're a threat to anybody. I think they're working with Trump at this point. Okay, so yeah, I feel like a lot of what you see in news around China has no bearing in truth. Okay, let's have a look at, what do we got here? What? I think I might have missed a page here of things here. Oh yeah, the Charlie Pants. So King Charlie Pants. I made Coco work there. I skipped to my last question, or my second last question when I had a couple more to do here. How will King Charlie Pants be received? Okay, by this. So the speech he makes, what I want to know is he's coming to Canada. He's already here, apparently. Him and his wifey, and I think both of these are mask wearers, by the way. We've even seen close ups of Camilla, Queen Camilla. Can you imagine? Close ups where she's obviously wearing a mask. And we definitely know that isn't the original King Charlie Pants. It's probably double number 6 by now. But anyway, so these two, Charlie Pants got dealt with a long time ago. In my opinion, all the senior royals got dealt with it 2020, maybe 2021, maybe even sooner. Okay, but the truthers we were all talking about them being processed in 2020, late 2020 or 2021. Okay, so now we want to know, so these two actors, okay, what are they really coming? What's the comms here? So they're coming to Canada. He's going to make a speech. Okay, and there's no reason why he needs to make a speech. Some people are saying it's because Canada, the corporation, is bankrupt and it's really part of the US at this point. Maybe it was even sold to the US a long time ago. You know, that Canada, the Illusion video, go back and watch that if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, and there's a few other people putting out videos that Carney might be here because he's big in banking and UK, not to mention North American banking, but he's been a big player in the UK banking. He might even be, put in place by the alliance, by the way, in my opinion, okay, this is my opinion, to actually make the big transfer and let everybody in on the fact that Canada isn't a country the way we thought it was. And I've been getting that for years, that it's not what you think it is. Okay, it's a corporation, but it's been bankrupt, and it's maybe the big transfer is going on as we speak. Okay, and maybe Charlie Pants is actually going to let us in on that. So what we want to know is, are we going to get any truth out of Charlie Pants? This community, the things we believe about what's happening with him, are we going to actually get some comms out of him? Or is he just going to play his part in the movie and just be like, blah, 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 some stupid speech and everybody's disappointed? I'm trying to figure out, how are we going to feel about what Charlie says? Okay, King Charlie. And I don't even like calling him King Charlie. And I don't believe in nobody's my king, thank you very much, and nobody's my queen. Okay, there's some cool people in the world. He's definitely not one of them, if he was a real person anyway. I think the real King Charlie was a demon and channeled demons, and probably a reptilian, actually, just like his mom. But, that's just my opinion, of course, right? Okay, let's have a look. How are we going to feel about what Charlie says here? So we've got the star. Wow, the star. That's interesting. That's like an otherworldly card. And we've got the strength card. Wow, those two are actually really positive. Oh, man, Charlie is definitely being operated. So whoever's the guy they put in place for Charlie, by the a White Hat Alliance, guys. That's an alliance card. That's a good alien card. So that's weird that that's even there. Okay. And then we've got the strength card here. So that's powerful and strong. So he's going to say hidden things. So watch for hidden things and comms. Okay. And this card, when you're not talking about it as actually an otherworldly or other dimensional card, or the good alien card, the other way you could read it is vulnerable. Okay, vulnerable. I feel like there's going to be comms about the vulnerability of, or the fact that Canada is not what you thought it was. So stripping away maybe the illusions, okay, or the fact that Canada is really vulnerable because it is a bankrupt corporation, okay, or it has been sold already. So there's a vulnerability to that, okay, and it's been all hidden and kept secret from everybody. So he's going to put out some comms around that. Okay, but I feel like only really seasoned truthers are going to get what he says. Now that's interesting. Yeah, and then down the road, okay, some of the things he says we'll come to know, and everybody will come to know, but that'll take time. So it's all going to be in the form of comms. So I don't think it'll be a waste of listening to the speech. There's going to be a lot of like double speak and under the surface info. So we call that comms or signaling. Okay, I feel like that's what you're going to hear from them. And also like that Canada might be different than, so the presentation of Canada is different than it appears. So I feel like that's why even they're handling this different than they've ever, like how often does Charlie Pants, the king, or the queen when she was alive, how often did she come, and make these kind of speeches? It's really unnecessary. So what's really happening? I feel like we'll just get that in the form of under the surface like we're going to have to figure out the comms on that. It won't be obvious, but down the road, they're prepping us for something down the road and the hard truth of what's really happening. And I also feel like eventually it's going to lead to EBS where everybody has to know, because this card's like military on the street and or good military, and also White Hat Alliance military. Okay, so I feel like all of this will lead to, and you can look back and go, okay, I think I get what he was trying to say there, but it won't be obvious. Okay, it's going to be comms. But we won't be disappointed, it doesn't look like, and that's the good news. I don't think it'll just be total theater. It'll be a worthy, to sort out the comms will be worth it, I think. Okay, now let's look at income tax. So income tax that's been paid, and this is all over the world, by the way. Okay, I'm wondering, because we now know that the yearly income taxes that people pay in all the countries all over the world, and in particular, like the US Fed, it's been outed that they're not federal at all. And it's not even like, it's like its own kind of corporation. And it's a huge scam that all of us have been scammed by. Okay, they put it into place as temporary measure. Okay, in times of war, that's most countries got it put in place in ways that were supposed to be temporary, and then of course they kept it around forever, because why not? Deep states scraping all this money off of you, even though you get taxed for everything already 6 different ways. Okay, then they take taxes off your wages, which you've already been taxed so many different ways. They take taxes off things you buy that you were already taxed for. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's illegal to the max, and it's horrendous, and it actually gulls me to even think about. And I don't comply, and right? But I'm not I'm not I'm not an advisor, a financial advisor. So I'm just telling you how I feel about it. Okay, and my opinion about it and what the cards say. I'm not telling you what to do with your income tax. Okay, I'm not saying that. But what I want to know is all of the income tax that people have been paying for the last few years since we discovered that this was all a scam, and this truth or community believes that, and in particular this truth or me believes that the Fed's been taken out quite a while ago, and whatever your equivalent in your country to the Fed is, I believe those were all dismantled at some point, and they're playing out things I don't even think some of the employees know it. Their place has been dismantled. I feel like they're playing it out until they can actually let everybody in on what's been going on, right? That's a lot of truth bomb for people, right? But this community certainly is onto the scam that federal income taxes are. Okay, so I want to know, okay, and or somebody asked in the comments, and I thought it was a great question, where does that money go? Has it been going to the deep state, like say for the last 5 years? Or has that been stopped? And where does it go if it's not going to the deep state? Okay, let's have a look. And remember, our deep state cards are like the devil. That's like the really bad guys. The Hierophant might show up. Yeah, mostly though. One of those 2 cards should show up if you got deep state involved. Let's have a look. And if we don't see those cards, it's likely not going to the deep state. So where's it going? We're going to go income tax, and where it's going is the second card down. Income tax. Now that's interesting. So the money's been collected, and there's a lot of it. That's the strength card. Oh boy. Okay. That doesn't look like deep state. That's where it's going. And that card is really interesting. It's very Sagittarian. And it also lines up with, this is what I call my Robin Hood card. Okay. So I feel like a lot of money has been collected, and it will be distributed. So it's collected from the wealthy. Okay. So the deep state scam. Okay. And going to be, I think, distributed just like, Robin Hood was known to distribute. So the story or myth about Robin Hood is that he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Well, it wouldn't be stealing because they've been stealing from us. Okay, so that wouldn't be a steal. Okay, so the judgment, they've already been judged in the past. So these corporations that have been scamming the countries, pretending that the income tax, the federal income tax, the yearly income tax goes back into the country, which it doesn't, by the way. It usually goes, well, from what we've figured out, and lots of people have done the research, it looks like it goes to royal families and, like layers of cabal, deep state, Khazarian mafia, various different layers of those organizations, depending on what country we're talking about. US dollars collected by the Fed. A lot of people who've done research have said that it actually looks like it goes back to the UK royals, or it had in the past. Okay, up until I think those guys were taken down. So of course it's also confusing because my cards have been saying those guys were taken out a long time ago, and these these collections have all been taken down. These federations. Okay, so the Fed, which isn't federal. Okay, we look at that. So the general population will still think it's going to where it's always gone. Okay, but it in fact has been collected and going somewhere to be distributed at a later date. Okay, so taken from the rich and given to the poor, but I mean, not taken, because it's all money that was taken from everybody, everyday people. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of way they're going to redistribute that. Okay, so this is, but it's going to get, people are going to know about it first. They have to out these guys as the scumbag deep state that they are. They have to out this. So this is all going to take time. I feel like by the time we know about it, we're also already like it's Christmas time, maybe this year, or early in the, about May, maybe by next year. So between December and May of next year. And I feel like Trump himself is going to be the one sort of letting us all in on that, how they're going to do this. So wow, that's fascinating. Okay. Wowza. I think that's it. I think that's all we got, you guys.
Some cards also. Which cards do you want to use? What deck do you want to use tonight if you're doing?
I've got this new deck I'm obsessed with called the Meaning Tarot, which is really helping me develop my. Oh, it's not closing in.
It's not zooming in there.
Yeah, it's this really cool tarot deck that gives you like the meaning of the cards on there. It should. Why is it not
zooming in?
Okay, now it's zooming in.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so I've got some tarot, I've got some Lenormand, I've got all kinds of cards over here, JC. So we're good.
We're good to go on the cards front, and of course, we're going to be really good to go on the astrology. Lots of that to talk about here tonight too. Lots of crazy energies. Let me start there. Starting this last Sunday, I remember Monday morning, I called Janine. I'm like, "Holy fuck! Did you sleep last night?" And she says, "No." It's like I was having the sweats. I was having the weird like panic attacks or dread feelings, and I come to learn also that Clefai was doing the same thing too. And then here again on election night on Tuesday, I thought, oh, maybe it's the election we're feeling. But then again, we had friends from around the world having that same kind of weird reaction. So it had nothing to do with the Canadian election. So there's something out there. And now I went back, and a few people sent me on the TBJ chat and on our email forum posters of the Schumann resonance for that day, for the last couple of days, and it was just like through the roof. So first, let me ask you guys in the live chat, have you been feeling all this weird erratic energy? If so, let us know what your symptoms are in the live chat. But Meg, have you been feeling these weird energies the last couple of days too? How are you dealing with that?
I haven't been having any anxiety like you're describing or the feelings of dread, but I got this head cold out of nowhere. And usually I don't get sick. I don't get sick that often. And usually if I get something, my body just my whole life, I've just naturally kicked things like within a couple days.
Yeah.
But this was sticking and it like completely took my voice away and was very intense. So that's interesting. Physically, I'm being affected. But I also, and I think I shared this with you, JC, the other day, that I'm feeling like there's some really trippy things going on in the election. We're probably going to talk about that, where there are positive developments for humanity happening that seem scary, like things may not be going right in a certain direction, but is actually the best possible thing that could be happening. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm feeling psychically that there's major attacks going on from a different faction, from a different force. I'm really noticing the whole past week when I'm around people that are really in the normie land or even had some experimental shots, I'm feeling energetically like, and this may be scary, I'm sorry you guys, but I'm feeling psychically that there's frequencies coming from, I don't know what it is, but it's affecting how they're operating, how they're believing in things, how they're seeing things, basically controlling them, which isn't news. I know many people have said that before, but I've actually been feeling it real time psychically. And I'm finding it really hard to be around certain people like that. So I've been noticing that this past week. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I was having that exact conversation with Sarah, but I got to ask you, is it them that's reacting to these energies, or are we, the people who are not the normies, who are more awake, just having very, very little to zero tolerance for them now, maybe more than before? Or is it a combination of both? What do you think?
I think it's a combination of both, but also like really noticing it viscerally, what's going on with them energetically, which is intense as an empath, because you just don't want to be around that, because it's black magic. It's black magic energy.
It's weird too, because, okay, so we went to the restaurant the other night. We were with friends. Some of them had invited some more normies in there too. And I was like looking in the room, and Sarah says, oh, it's kind of like we're sitting with zombies. Like it looked or felt different. Like they were just like off. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm totally with you. In the last couple of days, it seemed apparent. So that could be still the Schumann resonance that's tweaking their field, tweaking our field, all of the above. But it's kind of weird. Everybody's saying, hey, JC, we miss you. I've been around. But I also had a cold, and Meg was filling in for me last week. It's funny, too, as you say that, I'm never sick. Like, guys, I've been on screen here every day, sometimes 2 times a day for years. I almost am never sick, knock on wood. But just coming back from Florida, I've had this head cold ever since, and it's nagging. I'm almost out of it, but it's been nagging. Some people send me a whole bunch of different remedies and all that. I thank you guys for the emails and all that. People are thinking about maybe 5G, maybe affecting me more than I thought while I was there. Who knows? There might have been a 5G tower right below my hotel room. Who knows, right? I'm not used to that. I live in the country, so could be that. Could be the pollen. I don't know. But it's odd for me to be sick and off weather as well. So I don't know. Maybe we're all purging something here. Well, great to have you back, Meg. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's talk about, so when you did the shows during the week I had off, you talked about this Mars-Pluto conjunction and how that was going to be stirring a lot of these energies. And maybe that has something to do with what we're seeing in the Normie land. Definitely has something to do with what we're seeing in politics, in the world of politics and war right now. So can you bring up a chart and let's kind of revisit that a little bit to see how that energy was starting to manifest, and then maybe take it from there and go like, okay, what do we see from now until next week in terms of the energies here?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So this is a chart for actually this moment right now as we're speaking. And we've got Mars in a direct opposition to Pluto. Now, it's no longer exact. We had this exact Mars-Pluto opposition on April 26th, the day before the Canadian election. Very, very interesting. And this is our last week. So from today, May 1st, as we're filming, going until May 8th, our last week, where we're in the energy of this Mars-Pluto opposition that we've actually been in the orb of influence of on and off since October. Okay. So since October, we've had 3 exact Mars-Pluto oppositions. Mars and Pluto are 2 of the malefic planets. So they're two of the bad guys, the villains, if you will. And oppositions are adverse aspects. So it's a very challenging point of tension with two malefic planets. There's great challenge and adversity that can come, but there's also positive, empowering potential as well. I feel like the positive of Mars and Pluto is it's showing us where to direct our energy, because both these planets do have a lot to do with our energy, our life force. If we direct our energy in empowering ways, it can amplify that. But then on the other side, if we put our energy in self-destructive ways, which this is the hard part about it, JC, Pluto rules our shadow side. Pluto rules self-sabotage. Pluto rules the parts of us that just go, fuck it, I'm just going to do that thing that I know that's not good for me, you know. So we can actually be more prone to those things during these times, which I've been hearing a lot of people saying too. Just screw it. I'm not going to do my practice. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, you know, whatever. There's so much going on, right? So it's critical during these times to be in some form of self-care discipline. And even when we're out of the Mars-Pluto opposition, I'm just feeling to say this intuitively in general, because that keeps us strong energetically, and that's going to keep us being able to, yes, there will be normies around us, and I feel like we're getting even more psychically sensitive to the truth of what's really going on, which at times can be scary, right? I don't know about you, JC, but if you can read somebody really for who they are walking down the street, sometimes that's scary.
Oh yeah. You know, just on that note, let me bring this up also, guys. If you haven't seen part 3 of the Emerging, so it's Emerging Now, part 3, and then part 2, because he did that in 2 parts. But the part 3 is what I'm talking about here. He was talking about how the ontology or universe or universal consciousness is now in the process of revealing itself to us through the forms of the qualia, whatever he calls them, like hints, or when the universe is talking to you. So universe is talking to you through the astrology, you're seeing the alignments, you're getting a feedback from it. The tarot readers, the same thing. People who are psychic, the same thing. And what he's saying is that these energies are just increasing. So what we're seeing now in terms of secrets reveal is about to explode in a big way. And this is exactly what the powers that be fear. That what you just described, where you just meet them and you're like, oh, fuck, I know who you are. They can't hide anymore. The energies are not there to support the hiding of the information anyways. So guys, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Cliff High's Substack, fascinating series there. The Summer of Emergence is what he's calling it. Did you see that series, and how do you tie that into perhaps the fear that we're also fearing in the collective, or feeling in the collective, in terms of this dread? Might not be our dread. It's their dread that, of course, this energy is not in their favor anymore. Meg.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see that series yet, but totally. This is why it's critical. And I'm sorry, you guys, if I sound like a broken record whenever I go live, but I'm always saying, spend as much time in nature as you possibly can. Have some sort of self-discipline practice. So, you know, for me, and I've said this publicly before, I find it really hard to meditate these past few years. Used to be able to do that. So for me, the discipline isn't meditation. It's going for walks. It's dancing. It's riding my bike. It's moving my energy. Whatever it is for you that makes you feel good on a daily basis to strengthen your energy, critical, because I've definitely had moments, JC, you've had moments. I think a lot of us are starting to have these moments where it might be with a stranger, or the really freaky part is if it's with someone you actually know really closely and you've known for a while, and then you start to see facets of them psychically that you didn't notice before. And psychically, it's not always through visions, you guys. I personally am very clairvoyant and get visions, but this is also through the psychic knowing of your claircognizance, your clairsentience. If you just feel off around a person physically, that's a psychic sense, right? So paying attention to what you feel, see, know when you're around people, because I think not everybody is a real person. Right. And
we have some NPCs, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And some people are, hijacked by some of these darker forces at the moment. So they might not necessarily be a reptilian or a shapeshifter, but a lot of people are under this black magic spell at the moment.
That's crazy. On the note of Cliff High's video, first, thank you for that, Meg. People are also saying, yes, they enjoyed the video between Cliff High and Jenny Moonstone. Let me bring that one up also. And guys, if you haven't seen the viewer question Beyond the News from today, Ginny Moonstone was filling in for Janine for her birthday. We did the rapid fire questions with Tarot. Absolutely amazing show here today. Ginny knocked it out of the park. So please go check that out on the pay-per-view side of things. And if you haven't seen this interview with her and Clef High, go to Ginny Constantine, her YouTube channel here. And there was a bit of a lag in some of the audio of this recording, and she said that she's re-rendering the video and will be also re-uploading it perhaps in a day or two for now with an improved audio. It's not that bad. You can still listen to this clip that's already originally there, but if you want to wait for the one with the video audio, I think it's coming out tomorrow, she said. But anyways, fabulous interview there with Cliff, guys. You're absolutely right. So Meg, let's go back here to Mars-Pluto opposition. Let me bring it back on the stage for you here. Now, if you were to sum it up, how is it affecting us individually versus what we're seeing in the collective? Or how do you think that will continue to manifest there? Or what seeds has that planted here for perhaps the summer of hotness that Cliff High is talking about here?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because this opposition will be done May 8th, where it's in a strong orb of influence. But then after that, we're going to have some other really intense transits that we'll have to talk about in upcoming shows. Full moon in Scorpio, Saturn and Neptune coming into strong conjunction, Saturn changing signs, all kinds of stuff. But this Mars-Pluto opposition in particular, which it's getting to this strong apex this week, as it's at the end of its strong opposition, it's about power struggles in the collective and in our personal lives, the power struggles between the light and the dark. So we're seeing these power struggles all over the world. You know, the tariffs is a very big power struggle at the moment. The financial system, there's a lot of power struggle going on with that. Yeah. And you may notice in your personal lives, you guys at the moment, that there could be power struggles within yourself and your own shadow side, certain things that you know aren't serving you anymore. But it is hard to let things go that have become a habit or a routine or normal in our lives, or people. Pluto can deal with merging with others as well. So, you know, we've just got over a week left of this opposition. Remember to not take reactions personally from others, because people can be very easily triggered. In particular, and it's funny, JC, because you're an Aries and I'm a Scorpio, and we're both ruled by Mars in astrology. So Aries and Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising since October. I don't know about you, JC, but I've definitely been feeling it. I've been having huge mood swings. I've been very easily agitated and annoyed with this Mars-Pluto opposition on and off. Aries and Scorpios have been the most affected by this. So good news, it's almost over. Aries and Scorpios will be a bit more level-headed by the end of next week.
Yeah, I can admit to that. I have not been as even-keeled as I usually am. Again, I thought maybe I'm not sleeping, I'm aggravated, but it just felt like I'm aggravated a lot by little things, but mostly like people around you. So that, yeah, I have to cop to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm normally not that patient to begin with, like I said, Aries, but some of this in the last couple of weeks was pretty difficult for me to manage. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I just got two more points for that,
Yeah,
Jason. Just 2 more points. So the country of Canada is an Aries rising. Aries ruled by Mars. Okay. So whatever is the planetary ruler of your rising sign, we call that in astrology your chart ruler. And it's actually the most important planet to pay attention to in the current transits. So things have been so crazy for Canada since this Mars-Pluto opposition started, since Mars was at his fall in Cancer, since September 2024, we've seen huge power struggles with this Mars-Pluto opposition, Mars being Canada's chart ruler, between Canada and the US. And it seems like a huge death of what Canada is potentially, and the old power structure, powerful people that have been in charge up until this point. Also, one of the other kind of conflicts we're seeing being played out is with drones, UFOs, possibly in the skies, in the USA and all over the world at the moment. Drones and UFOs are ruled by Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius in an opposition to Mars in Leo. So I do believe that there are literally wars going on, battles going on in the sky right now. I think there's so much going on all astral levels at the moment. So yeah, I think that makes sense with this opposition as well.
Okay, so let me take a sidebar. Well, no, we'll come back to it. Let me write it down. You just mentioned something. I saw something absolutely crazy today. Aqualia, as Cliff calls them. I sent him the picture earlier tonight. I don't think he's seen it yet. Cliff, if you're in the chat, check your text messages. I sent you a picture while I was on the road. Okay, let's get into the election then. Do you want to get into the Canada stuff now, how this ties in? Okay. Yeah. So you just mentioned October. So Trudeau, of course, prorogued the House. We've been without a government for quite some time. Now we've had this election. Some people say it was a selection. Some people are saying today it was a stolen election. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to make here, let me just remove this one and add this one for you guys. I saw this article. This was from Tasha Kiradin, somebody I know from a long time ago in politics. I love her analysis. She says, a national unity crisis is brewing here in Canada. And the title here was, if you thought the past parliament was dysfunctional, buckle up for 2025. So first, what's the astrology there telling us about this infighting, this power struggle, this power vacuum that's trying to be filled here in Canada? Generally speaking, before we get into the personalities per se, what's in store for Canada in terms of energies right now? Are we going towards the calm side, collective side, unity, or are we going for this big fireworks moment here where, you know, we get to that point in the Cliffy Webbot data that says a newly constituted Canada, right? And we're seeing some rumblings of that now with Alberta. So what's the astrology right now for Canada? Let me let you bring up your slide here as well. Let's do that here. So here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the astrology is absolutely crazy for Canada right now. And I put out a video on my YouTube channel a couple weeks ago where I put out like my official predictions for the election. But I started that by saying, as an honest astrologer, I have to say that Canada is the weirdest country chart out of any country in the whole world, because it has exact, and let me actually show this to you guys so you can see, excuse me, this is Canada's chart. Exact sun, which is the identity, the most important placement, right? Exactly conjunct Uranus, the planet of shocks, surprises, weirdness, unpredictability, separation, things separating, divorce, right? At a Scorpio degree. So I said, I feel, and I do believe this, I think, and this is my personal opinion based off the astrology, I think Pierre won the election and it was stolen from him.
Okay.
And I think there was a major attack on the electoral system. Whether that was, maybe that was overseen by good guys and they let that happen, but there was for sure a very intense attack done on election night. And
so it was made to happen or let happen, but something happened in your opinion.
Yes.
Here. Okay.
Whether it was made to happen or let happen, but I do think there was very nefarious energies, and I'm getting intuitively as well that it's not just the actual election and the ballots, and I'll explain why this is astrologically, but for some reason, I feel there's major psychic attacks also towards Canada at the moment, because Canada has the potential here to totally trip the world out and flip to become one of the best places to live, which I know may sound totally freaking crazy.
What astrologer 5-6 years ago, and I think you and I had a talk on this during COVID, that eventually Canada was going to be the place to be. Like, don't move now. Because remember the time people were leaving Canada because of Trudeau, the trucker convoy. Was it? Do you remember which famous astrologer was saying no? Actually, Canada is going to be a good place. Do you remember?
Well, I said that 5 years ago.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who else.
I believe there was somebody else. Oh, well, you're famous in your own right, absolutely. But and I totally acquiesce to that. But there was somebody else too, and the reason I'm saying that too is because they had said something on a different show. I'll try to think about it.
Okay.
There's another link there to that story, but keep going. Anyways, that's interesting because right now it doesn't look that way, and people surely don't feel that way. It very much feels like if you're looking just at the surface without getting into the woo of it all, you think, oh man, they installed their World Economic Forum puppet into a government right now, and he's going to continue pushing forward on the same crazy green agendas, the carbon taxes, the gun grabs, the double down on woke, as Mark Carney said during the campaign. And we're like, fuck, nobody wants that. How do we go from that to being the best place? I'm curious what you're going to bring up, but keep going.
Yeah, well, there's many different factors, but I think one of the main factors is that Sun-Uranus conjunction, which means, okay, and people are not going to be happy with me saying this, it is not going to be predictable. Uranus is not predictable. So anybody telling you here's exactly what's going to happen to Canada in the next year, they're probably wrong, because it's not supposed to be in a predictable way. That's part of our path is Canada and the wake-up process of what it's showing astrologically. But just want to touch on, JC, why I think the election was stolen or completely rigged is because Mars, the chart ruler of Canada, at the time of the election on election night, was exactly conjunct Canada's natal Mercury. Mercury rules ballots, anything written, pens, papers, local communities, election offices to do an election, people volunteering, that whole thing. So Mars was conjunct the natal Mercury in an opposition to Pluto, with that Mars-Pluto opposition was exact the day before. So a dark attack happened on the country. Was it allowed to happen? Was it facilitated to happen? This is where it gets trippy, but I do believe Pierre won the election. And there's so many, if you go on X, Telegram, people speaking out on many of the, what's it called? Not mail-in ballots, or what's the right word? When
Advanced voting.
Advanced voting, that none of those were even counted. Like there's all this fishy stuff going on.
Well, there's already reports also, people taking photograph of people working in polling stations, bringing the ballot boxes to their house unsecured, and then bringing them back the next day. Like, what the fuck is that all about? I don't know. And then there, of course, as you're talking about the astrology, there was this weird thing that happened in Pierre Poilievre's writing, to where there was like 99 names on a ballot in one writing. What the hell? You couldn't even find Pierre if you wanted to on that list. And of course, Pierre lost his own writing in all of this. So there's a lot of weird stuff that still needs to be examined. And I think what we'll do, as more of this information comes out, because we're probably going to see lawsuits, and I saw Elections Canada say today too that there were some utter irregularities at other polling stations. They were talking about something completely different that I hadn't seen yesterday. So there might be more developing story on that. But I think for now, if we pull back and just go back to a comment in the live chat, let me see if I can get back to it here. Somebody said Trump was wrong to troll Canada. It backfired badly. Here they're talking about making it the 51st state, which angered Canadians. It completely changed the ballot question from the carbon tax to the old Liberal government's record to now we need to unite and fight against Trump, the bad guy, right? So it completely changed the election ballot question. So Zenbin is saying, yeah, he was wrong to do it. It backfired. Hold on. I'm not sure it did. Because when you listen to Trump very carefully, it very much appeared that Trump wanted Carney to be elected. He made a gaffe as to say, when he's elected, we're going to talk the next day and we're going to have a deal and it's going to be good for Canada and for the United States. Trump went as far as saying that. And then the day after, he kind of retracted, well, if he wins. But he kind of let it out that, this guy's going to win. So if you listen to Trump long enough, you know what he was hinting at. So here's my point. If Trump wanted Carney to win and Trump is an agent of the White Hats, then maybe it didn't backfire. Maybe we're exactly where we're supposed to be in the grander plan. What that plan is, I don't know. I'm wearing my Canada t-shirt right now, a Pure Blood t-shirt. I don't know. But it very much feels to me that Trump is trying to organize, put together some type of North American defense and economic zone. That's why Panama Canal, that's why Canada, that's why Greenland. So in that context, him wanting Carney is a step towards maybe that objective. Maybe we can look at the cards later on, but that seems to suggest that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, and that Trump did not want Pierre Poilievre for some reason. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because to me, when I saw the election on that night, first of all, the night before the election, I was talking to some insiders, and they were like, "Ooh, geez, I don't know. I'm looking at the numbers. I don't know, man. It's going to be minority either way." Nobody could call it the night before. So I kind of knew, okay, it doesn't look like Pierre's going to win a majority the night before. So I kind of acclimatized to that fact the day before the election. Now, in election night, a lot of people around me were like, oh, no, it's impossible. All these morons voted for another term of these liberals. How could that be? It's crazy. I'm like, half of me was like nonchalant in the thinking of, well, maybe we're exactly where we're supposed to be because this is the white hat op. Trump wanted this guy. Or maybe I'm just so fucking tired that I don't care anymore. I don't want to listen to it. So I was kind of oscillating between both sentiments on election night. But now 2 days later or 3 days later, I'm like, yeah, I think we're exactly where we're supposed to be. I don't know why yet, and perhaps you and I can decode that together, but it feels that way. So for the comment on the screen, I don't think it backfired. I think it's exactly what Trump wanted. Your first thoughts on that, Meg?
Yeah, I'm open to seeing how that's going to play out. I personally don't feel that Trump is a bad guy and a globalist. I know many people are kind of flipping and feeling like that, and we all have our right to, I'm all about freedom, feel whatever you want. Sure. Energetically, I don't feel Trump is bad. I don't feel we're being played by Trump. It's strange as a Canadian seeing him prop up Carney, JC, we know who Carney is. Like, it's like, what the fuck, right? Why are you?
I know.
Yeah. Why are you saying he's a nice guy? So even when I hear that, I'm like, ooh, I don't like to hear he's a nice guy. I don't like to hear. There's certain things I don't like to hear. But at the same time, I think this is all happening for a very big reason. And can I just pull up my other slide for a moment, JC, because it ties into what I'm saying.
And hold that thought for just 1 second. Okay, yeah. I just want to bring this one up. Marquetta says, Jean-Claude, they cheated just like in our 2020 election in the States. That may very well be the case, but like I said, not really my focus for tonight. And it's not that it's not important. It is important if in fact they cheated. We need election integrity here in Canada just as much as you guys need it in the States. But my point is, here we are in 2025, and there's still no justice for 2020 in the States. So I'm not holding my breath for any justice on the electoral reform here in Canada. My point is, where are we right now? What does this mean? How do we help? If it is indeed a white hat op, how do we bring our energies for the higher good here of Canada moving forward? That's kind of the conversation I want to get at tonight. Okay, go back to that last slide you wanted to share there.
Yeah, so it's weird, right? Canada, the weirdest country astrology. It's weird because we just had this, many of us can look at it as a tragedy, even though there's libtard, okay, sorry, but sometimes we use that term, libtard people celebrating like, yay, we have Mark Carney, this is awesome. Did you see that couple, JC, that they put out that really cringe video, like, we just had Mark Carney win? Did you see that on X? I'll have to send that to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw the cringe video of Mark Carney and his wife dancing elbows up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cringe. I can't do it.
There's an even cringier one I'll send to you.
Okay.
But what was I going to say there? Okay, so they're celebrating. So how weird is this? They're celebrating. They're like, yay, we're going to beat Trump and we're going to...
Yeah.
No. Okay. And then there's this other side of us, freedom lovers. We're totally tripped out. What's going on? Are we going to have to move to Alberta? What's happening right now?
Right.
The current transits for Canada. Canada is a Cancer. United States is a Cancer sun. Jupiter is moving into Cancer just over a month from now on June 9th, 2025. We'll be there for a year. This is going to be extremely positive for Canada and the US. So I've written, this is one of the most positive things you can have in astrology, transit Jupiter conjunct your sun. So Jupiter will be exactly conjunct the natal sun Uranus conjunction of Canada from July 14th to 18th. There will be some sort of major positive development for Canada in that time frame. Okay. Also, transit Jupiter is within a strong orb 5 degrees of the natal sun Uranus conjunction from June 22nd to August 11th. And interesting, also the G7, which is going to be happening in Alberta, is going to be right before that. So within range of that. And I was saying to JC before I went live, I looked at the whole Alberta astrology. That is wild. That G7 is going to be wild, Wild West, a drama show. That's going to be very, very interesting.
I mean, if you didn't know it was a movie, like of all the locations they can plan, and again with the astrology and all that, the fact that they could separate to the fact that the First Nations are making their voices heard here in the last 2 days, asking Carney to put Premier Smith back in line. Like, it's absolutely bonkers what's happening there. And on top of all of that, Preston Manning, this figurehead of the Western Alliance from decades ago, just resurfaced in the last couple of days. Like, yeah, maybe it's time again to maybe separate the West from the rest of Canada. So it's kind of like, dude, again, I'm thinking of a couple of years ago, Cliff telling me, JC, I have it in the data. There's a data set called Newly Constituted Canada, right?
Wow.
So at that point, it felt scary. But what you're saying here is like, it's probably a good thing. But these are the stepping stones here, the dates, the times, the placements, and all that seem to be leading us in that direction. Would you agree that's what we're looking at now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, the next birthday solar return chart of Canada is extremely positive with Sun rising and Jupiter conjunction. So there's very positive astrology coming for Canada. Some of the most positive things you can possibly have, where also in conjunction with Mark Carney's chart is so weak. It is so weak. It is so bad. I don't think he's going to be prime minister by the end of the year.
I asked Jenny that today, and she thought the next couple of months to maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
And Janine's been picking up on that too.
Yeah.
And I think Cliff, the last time he was on our show with the Wacky Woo, he said he didn't see Carney in a big way or official way or significant way in the data past, I think he said May or June, or maybe July at the latest. So he doesn't seem to be there for long. And what Jenny Moonstone was getting today in the reading was that something comes out also that's very detrimental information-wise. Could be the Epstein list. Of course, Epstein, his wife, were caught with Ghislaine Maxwell at a hedonism party. This was reported in mainstream news here in Canada. There might be more to that. There might be something having to do with the tax havens, offshores. Who knows? Or maybe other stuff we just don't even fathom yet. So that's crazy. Okay.
And all of this going on, well, and this could be a whole other show on itself because there's so much to unpack there, but Alberta is seriously separating from Canada. So whether that actually goes through, which I think is a huge potential that's going to be happening, that's happening at the same time.
So they just lowered the threshold here for having this referendum, and they've already met the required verified signatures within the first 24 hours. And I think they've lowered the threshold of the timing it would take to also have that referendum. So this is what I mean. It's heating up here very quickly. And where's this Preston Manning thing? So this is the Western Front. People are suggesting here could be in play right now. And yeah, Preston Manning, geez, talking about this Western Assembly here after this Liberal win. So crazy times to say the least. Okay, something you mentioned too. I want to go back to. Well, first of all, is there more in that slide you want to share with the audience before?
Just a couple points.
Okay, let me bring it back up. There you go.
Where did that go?
This one here.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So there's this very positive transits, but at the same time, with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's going to be starting this summer, happening in Canada's 12th house, also the Pisces eclipses hitting Canada's south node. This is a huge time of healing, reality checks, breaking through programming and past illusions and lies and deceptions, which does not happen overnight, right? Yeah. So this is where I think it's discernment is very, very important, you guys, because I think there may be a possibility here where, and use your own discernment, do whatever you feel. But from what I'm seeing with the astrology, there may be a certain amount of time where freedom-loving Canadians might actually have to go to Alberta or Saskatchewan for a little while other parts of Canada fully maybe have to go through a harder time to go through a wake-up. Because, I mean, to have gone through everything we've gone through, JC, and then to actually vote again for the Liberals, that's some very deep mind control programming.
It's some weird fucking shit. It's like, I saw this meme during the campaign where it's like the men in black and Carney's holding that little pen. It's like, oh, and just like that, you're going to forget the whole last 10 years. Yeah. But it seemed to have worked on a lot of people, including some of her friends, and we're looking at them like, what? You don't remember what just happened? And also, don't you see it's the same guy with the same cabinet, with the same team, with the same people behind them? Like, it's absolutely absurd. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
wild.
One of my friends was telling me, she's more into the politics side still of things, and she's saying, yeah, he says it's weird, like the ballot question did change, but also what was emerging was a fight between the haves and the have-nots, to where Pierre was garnering the vote of the have-nots, the young people who are trying to buy a house, who want affordability, who want their streets to be safe and all that. And then some of the boomers who, no, they just want the pension funds to be secured. They just want the stock market to go up. They want more money printing because it serves them, and to hell with the younger people, right? And that was that famous Brampton, was it Brampton? I think it was Brampton, the boomer guy. Yeah, the guys who were flipping off people there in the election line. So I was like, wow, okay, that's really where we're at. But I don't really believe that. I think the media was playing that too, but I'm like, I talked to a lot of boomers, and they're also kind of concerned that their kids can buy houses and all that. To what point the difference? I don't know, but they were kind of trying to sell that the division. Brantford boomer. Thank you, Monoblock.
Right.
The right answer. Wow. Can I ask you a question about Trump? You mentioned the libtarbs earlier. Okay, so let me go back. Let's take this off the screen. When Trump endorsed Carney, like, I literally thought people would go berserk and not like crazy, because here in Canada, throughout the whole election, all of mainstream news, it was Trump derangement syndrome on steroids. This guy is a clown. He's an idiot. He's a moron, and blah, blah, blah. Just like, it's like all the bad words you can listen to, like they were saying it on mainstream news. And yet, all of a sudden, Trump, the bad guy, endorses their guy, Carney. And then everything's okay. So, like, wait a second. If he's truly a moron and an idiot, as you say, then perhaps it's not a good thing that he's endorsing your guy, Carney. Do you not compete? Right. And people were looking at me like, huh? Or the smoke would come out of their ears. Like, they just couldn't fucking compute with that. And even the mainstream news, they couldn't consolidate that, right? So here we are even today, after the election, where the liberals, if they do a deal with Trump, they've just, they think Carney is their savior, but Carney might be the guy who's just going to go ahead now and do a deal with the person they think is the devil, Trump. Like, how they're going to sell that here in Canada? He's not done having troubles, Carney, here moving forward.
Oh, no.
But what do you make of that dichotomy? It's just like, it's mind-blowing that those liberals, they went from hating Trump to, oh no, it's okay, he's good now because he's supporting Carney. Like, oh my god, there's no intellectual honesty whatsoever in mainstream news and in this discourse at the Tim Hortons and coffee shops around Canada. It made no sense. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it has to do, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No. And I think it does also tie into what I've been feeling really strongly, and I know many other people have been feeling too, but I've been feeling it really intensely in my day-to-day, is this frequency, this black magic spell that's over these people that watch the news, that, have gotten experimental injections, that drink the fluoride, whatever ways they put themselves vulnerable to that vibration. It's almost like they can't see through it. It's these frequencies are going to have to be stopped, whether that's the 5G or they're going to have to go through some major healing or cleansing process. It's because you don't let go of that kind of programming overnight. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. I was talking to Cliff the other day. I was like, I think because you said, oh, maybe instead of buying a house in where were you going? Niagara Falls. You're gonna say, oh, we'll go to Alberta or whatever. Yep. And I was talking to Sarah, I'm like, can we go live on a mountain somewhere and be a recluse for the next couple of years and maybe watch this from afar? Because it's absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Let's leave the politics at that. I think we have enough for tonight. And thanks, guys, for bearing with us, because for most of our American viewers, this is still very important because the whole tariffs thing is still not completed. Apparently, Trump said that he talked to Carney on the day of the election to congratulate him. And he said, oh, yeah, that guy's a good guy. And he said he's ready to make a deal. And I was like, what? Carney's making a deal? That's odd to me. Actually, let's go back to this. That's odd to me because Carney typically right now is in the minority government. So how is he going to make a deal with Trump? The whole point of having this election was to have a strong mandate. Well, he doesn't have a strong mandate. He's in a minority government here. But what I was showing, and going back to that Tasha Kheiriddin article, we could be looking at the same type of situation to where the NDP here, who lost party status, by the way, Jagmeet Singh lost his seat.
Wow.
All of this to prop up the Liberals in the last government, right? They completely obliterated, submarine the NDP party just to prop up the Liberals. But they still have enough seats here with those 7 seats. If you add it to the 168 from the Liberals to come to 175, that would bring them in a majority position. Yeah. So I'm not sure they're going to do that. They don't have a leader right now. They're in turmoil, of course. They don't even have official party status, which means they don't have the same funding they do to operate in the House, to have their offices and all that. So they're in disarray. What was funny also is that the Green Party leader, Elizabeth May, let me see if I have that on the screen here. I had it earlier. She apparently is going to cross the board. Where did she go? Anyways, and join the Liberal Party. So I'm like, okay,
what?
That's yeah. I have that somewhere, but yeah, absolutely crazy. So would it be possible that they can form some type of coalition? I asked Meg that today. Jenny Moonstone that today in the show, and she's like, no, he doesn't look like he's in a strong position. So this minority here is gonna dog him for quite some time here until perhaps we're gonna have another election. And again, that's what Tasha Kheiriddin was saying here too, with this national unity brewing, with this minority government. We could be heading back to the polls sooner than later.
Oh, yeah.
And I was having this conversation this morning with one of my friends, and I said, listen, the budget's coming up. These money bills are coming up. And if he's in a minority, he can fight a no confidence vote. So we could be exactly at the same spot to where last October now would be Carney, who would call a prorogation to stop the vote so he doesn't lose control of the House here in this non-confidence vote, and then swing us right back into an election. So we're in this weird period of time, and like you said, anything is possible at this point. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And as long as it's crazy here in Canada, it's going to be crazy with our American counterparts. The whole tariff thing is not done yet. Whatever the real objective behind these tariffs are, whether that's the financial system changing over, this defense zone for North America taking place, we don't know where that's going yet. So that's very fascinating. So why don't we take a look at some of those different little aspects here tonight too for the audience members. The money system. That's the big one, to where it appeared moving into April. This is from the last WUFI show that Janine said that we were going to see directions, not necessarily the new system put in place, but directions as to where that was going to go. And I thought it was interesting that just a couple of days ago, again, in April, Trump was putting more policy planks around this idea of completely eliminating the income tax in the States. And here now he's talking about focusing on people who are making less than $200,000 a year. And so he's saying the External Revenue Service is happening. So now we're seeing more and more meat to the bones here as to what that's going to look like. So it's so like Janine said, we'll see it. It's kind of be there. It's not that it'll take months to implement, but we're going to have an inkling as to where that's going at the end of April. So there's that. And there was also this Carl Schwab interview from earlier today. These guys manage $7 trillion or so, suggesting that they're going to clear a path here to launch a Bitcoin and crypto buying. So we're seeing more and more institutional money now coming into this crypto world. Again, kind of on the heels of Trump saying, yeah, we're going to reduce the regulation here. We're going to make North America the crypto capital of the world, investment capital of the world, innovation capital of the world, all that stuff. So it very much feels like now we know something's happening with the financial system, something's happening with the income tax, and something's going to change here to where fiat might take a back seat to new currencies taking form. And we're seeing more and more of the states also now making gold and silver legal tender for purchases and also for taxes and all that stuff. So we're entering that war. We're seeing kind of the light there. So what I want to ask you, generally speaking, let's say for the next 6 months, because Janine we're going to have an inkling now in April. And probably by late summer or into the fall, we're going to really know what's happening, or we're going to see it for real, or the normies are going to see it, I think is what she said. What's the astrology behind that would suggest maybe Bitcoin taking fiat money's lunch, maybe gold and silver going absolutely crazy? On that note, gold is already actually going crazy. It's already in a reset, if you want to call it that. It's being revalued as we speak. It's no longer a question of if and when. It's happening live in real time in front of your eyes. So what's the astrology behind finances here for the next couple of months, Nick?
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting. Let me just bring up a chart to show you here, you guys. Oops.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. Excuse me. So I've got a chart for September, which is our next eclipse season, our next eclipse day. By this point, all the outer planets will now be in air and fire signs. So by the way, you guys, when we go into summer 2025, you are going to feel energies. You're going to start to feel a lightening of energies, even though there's still going to be a lot of big world events going on. Lighting of energies, your psychic abilities turning on, us becoming pioneers and way showers and up-leveling even more to that, because these outer planets are all changing signs at the same time. How this relates to the financial system, JC, it's definitely going to change the financial system for sure. And we've had Pluto in Aquarius full on since the end of November 2024. But now this is getting a little bit into the deeper layers of astrology. It is important with a transit to pay attention to what we call the dispositor of that transit. So Pluto's in Aquarius. What planet rules Aquarius? Uranus. Where's Uranus been since 2018? At his weakest position in Taurus. Uranus rules new system. Pluto rules big money. Aquarius is the future. But that hasn't really set in yet and won't until July 7th and onwards, when Uranus ingresses into Gemini. Then we're going to start to see, and I'm not a financial advisor, you guys, but more of the crypto highs, more clarity, like some of these new systems actually being integrated and started, and the financial system really moving forward from that.
Okay.
We're also having, from now until July 7th, JC, Uranus at the last critical degrees of Taurus, which could mark a potential for a financial crash. I don't want that to happen. I'm just saying astrologically, that potential is there, and it'll be there one last time in the fall when Uranus retrogrades one last time back into Taurus before fully going into Gemini 2026.
Okay. So we have those two critical dates there. Kind of bookends on all of this. Okay, so let me bring up some of the emotional tension values on the chart that Cliff had given us. So let me see if we can go back to that. I want to add that to the conversation for the audience. This, by the way, is what I was looking for. Green Party's Elizabeth May open to running for House Speaker, joining Carney's cabinet. So completely leaving the Green Party, joining the Liberals here. I'm like, what? Okay. That's just absolutely crazy.
She's nuts, that lady.
I was trying to be polite, but yeah. Like, I have other choice words, but nuts. We'll keep the nuts for now.
Yeah.
Okay. So emotional values. So you talked about September here.
Yeah.
It seems to be a lead up for something cataclysmic and big happening for the week of October. 102. Look at those emotional values. Like that's like, crazy. So we're in this peak period now, May, June, July. We're going to peak. We're going to have a little bit of a lull in August and maybe the beginning of September. And then again, this huge peak there. So Janine had it too. The last time we looked at this particular chart, this seemed to be financial. But at the same time, the ETs were all over this fucking shit. So I was like, oh, okay. So we haven't talked about that tonight too. I want to get into the ET stuff here too. So where that aligns. So people, look at these dates, make your decisions for yourself and how to navigate all of this for yourself. If you're seeing that the financial world is changing, don't put your head in the sand, study, take some time to look at this and then decide where you want to put your eggs and in what baskets you want to put your eggs. And don't follow the herds. You really have to do this for yourself and do all the research yourself. Maybe they're not financial advisors, but clearly the tectonic plates are moving below our feet right now. There's still some time for the people who can see where this is going to kind of better position themselves here as we go through. And that's what we hope that we can do with you guys by sharing some of this information. So going back on the ET stuff, so let me see if I can bring this picture up. This was cool. So I don't know when it was. Maybe it was in January or February. I was talking to Cliff about the drone stuff in New Jersey, and he had run in a report, and he said, "Oh, in the summer of 2025, we're going to see such an escalation of this shit, like the New Jersey drone stuff, to where this fight is breaking out into the open." To where we're going to see UFOs crash land on people's houses. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I was out in traffic tonight with Sarah, and then I saw this. This is the bus going by in Ottawa, and they have a sign here for Vanity Roofing. You won't believe what we can fix. There's a fucking UFO crashing into a house.
Oh
I'm like, okay, for any normie out there, this ad does not make sense. It doesn't even register. What are you talking about, UFOs? It's just like it's not really something that they would put up there. Like, it doesn't make sense yet to them. But maybe in a couple of months from now, it sure will, because this will be mainstream news. UFOs crashing on houses, just as it was predicted in the WebBot data. So I thought that was absolutely cool to see that. I sent that to Cliff. I hope he sees it and he can comment here before the end of the show. Your thoughts there, and then the astrology also suggesting that we might have more of a ramp up on the ET side of things also. Meg.
That is so wild that you saw that. It's like crazy synchronicity.
Yeah.
And also programming that they're doing through that.
Yeah, predictive programming, Dibster is saying. Yeah, exactly.
Predictive programming, yeah. So, yeah, I think the ET stuff will
perhaps those guys read the WebBot data reports and they're adjusting their advertising scheme, so ahead of the curve and ahead of the events, so to speak. Yeah. So good on them. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, I think definitely starting July 7th, going until the fall, we will see a big ramp up of ET, UFO. It's already very strong, and Uranus is in Taurus at the moment. So I think it's going to get really crazy this summer when Uranus changes signs, for sure. And Uranus being the planet that rules ETs, UFOs, anything from outer space, also possible discovery of another planet or notable celestial bodies in our solar system, space discoveries, what's going on with Oumuamua, stuff like that as well.
Well, yeah, and Oumuamua is supposed to return to. Apparently, the astrologers were saying that it seems to be making track back to us here, and it has like companions this time around. So that too is out there. We talked about that on the show, I think, last month. We're going to be tracking that a little bit more this year as that unfolds, but that's crazy also in and of itself. But the things falling on people's houses, I mean, that's okay. Now it's mainstream news. Like, hey, Bob, there's a fucking ET wearing an Edgar suit in your backyard. Like, what the hell? That's
I'll have to see if there's any parallels between what was it in New Mexico? What was that? Roswell.
Roswell.
That was Roswell, right? When the craft fell. Maybe there's some parallels between that astrology and what's going on now, but with so much entering Aries this year and in 2026, Aries, as you know, JC, you being in Aries, is in the present moment, physical life, like being embodied in the present moment. So, oh my God, there's actually a physical craft on my house. It just crashed, or something just crashed. I saw it over there. And now we have this weird metal thing in the backyard. Things are going to get more real with all these planets going into Aries. So as we were talking about even before, seeing psychically, even like physically, what actually is going on with the person, seeing ETs, seeing UFOs, having possible crafts crash into places. Our sight is opening up. Aries is also our sight.
Okay. Well, that'll be interesting to watch. Secrets revealed. I want to go back to this one here too. And I also want to talk about the blackouts we're seeing in Europe right now, whether that's like a residual of the old plan, they're trying to kick it up again, or is it a white hat op to show people, look, this whole fucking digital thing doesn't work. You also need cash. You also need gold and silver. You can't be completely attached to the digital system as they want you to be, all that stuff. I'll get to that in just a moment. But I saw this, see if I can go to this one. This is James O'Keefe putting out a very cryptic message the other day, suggesting that he was not suicidal. And that's funny because Joffrey, the Epstein victim, just a couple of weeks ago had said the same thing. She wasn't suicidal, but yet apparently now she was suicided. So he's suggesting here that there's a big story coming out, and he's very nervous. Janine pulled on that the other day too. He's nervous for a good reason. The cards were like, "Holy fuck, this is serious."
Wow.
What do you think this is leading to? Do you want to do a poll? Do you want to do some cards on this?
Let's do a poll.
Because I asked, was he safe? And she answered, well, he's doing the right things. He's hired the right bodyguards. He's like doing the protection stuff. But he like this is whatever he's on now, what he's talking about and why he's saying this it was serious as a heart attack. Like this is not a joke. It wasn't just a prank, a media prank. There's something here that appears to be coming out here. And we're questioning what direction does that go? What type of information? Like political stuff, Epstein stuff, something new we don't even know about yet. Like, let's do a poll.
Yeah, it's no joke, and we're going to get the clarity about it really, really fast. So we've got the 8 of Wands. So this is something that's going to be imminent within the next few days or up to a week, whatever story this is. And we've got the Tower. So this is no freaking joke. Okay,
right.
We've got the Tower upright. This is
dude. Janine had the same cards. She had the same cards.
That's
in the poll
crazy.
Yesterday. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm hearing spirits say this could possibly be the biggest story he's ever put out there.
Wow.
Huge Tower moment for him, for all of us as a society. And Queen of Pentacles has to do with maybe a woman with a lot of money. I don't know, possibly Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Or also, there's so many different charts and things for me to look at, JC, but I've been feeling with this upcoming full moon in Scorpio, I haven't even looked at her transits yet, but I feel like there's something with Hillary Clinton going to be happening because she is a Scorpio with that full moon in Scorpio on May 12th. Also, that full moon in Scorpio, sorry, this is going on a sidetrack for a second, but it might relate, is the day before the P. Diddy trial starts. So the P. Diddy trial starts May 4th, but they don't do their first opening statements until May 13th or May 12th. I think it's the 13th, Monday. So that might tie in, like all these things feel like they tie in together, but someone with a lot of money, he's scared for good reason of like somebody, possibly a woman, or has a more female energy that has a lot of money. And it's interesting that we've also got the Knight of Pentacles for James as well, reverse. So he might be feeling not confident at this moment for some reason. Maybe he lost someone on his team or something's going on where this one, it is a really big deal what's going on, but there's also an element where there might be something on the back end as well affecting his confidence going into this. But with the 8 of Wands, he knows that this has to come out, even if it is like at the risk of his life. It feels like it has to come out right now. It has to do with the news story coming up very soon. And it's going to be very uncomfortable information for the public.
So it's not a joke.
No.
Not a joke. And it's somewhat imminent. Janine was having that same thing too, and it was going to be quick and fast when it starts to come out. Wow.
And it's going to answer a lot of questions that we've had as a community. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. So there's huge clarity that's going to be coming in about an organization or a woman or a group of people that we've been like, what the fuck, what's going on with that? That's also part of the urgency behind that. Something that's been giving us like heartbreak. We're going to get the clarity around that.
Wow.
That's a big freaking deal. So definitely we got to send prayers out to James.
Yeah, thank you, June Marika, for that. Yes, and everyone there too. Please send him some protection energy. He needs it. That's interesting too. In light of, again, just going back, if you haven't watched the beginning of the show, this Emerging Now video from Cliff High on his Substack, he was talking about these specific years here of Secrets Revealed from 2025 to 2046. The bulk of it happening in 25 and 26, all the way up after that into 46. So he was talking about the power structure being exposed, the sex scandals, money, currency, deception. He talked about COVID, the aliens, 0-point technology, the demiurge, the Satan worshiping, all that stuff too. All of that coming out in a big way. So you can imagine the normies who are slack-jawed right now, who look like zombies, like what the hell are they going to be doing here in the rest of 2025 and 26? That's why I was suggesting maybe moving into the woods a little bit deeper for a couple of months and watch this happening is probably not a bad idea.
You know, and just if I could just speak on that really briefly, JC, I don't think Canada, or what we know of as Canada, it's not completely going to shit. It's not the end of the world. I don't see that happening. But to your point of what you just said, is sometimes we can go through waves of change easier if maybe we're in more of a little bit of a hermit mode kind of space, right? If you're living in a city and you're right in it, and I know we all have different situations. For some of us, maybe it's harder to move, but that's going to be way more intense than if you're able to go a little bit more rural during these times.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. Okay, we're at the hour mark. I have some brand new things to give away tonight. You want to give away some prizes, and then we'll come back maybe for a last pull or two? What do you think?
Sure, yeah, I'm good,
okay. So I want to show you these brand new creations here. These are from Carla at Ascension Organites. She was working with Janine and myself here to create these brand new candles. So you can see here the candles for Beyond Mystic engraved, and also here Sending Ravens. Really, really cool. So check that out on ascensionorganites.com is the website. Thank you, Carla, for donating these beauties tonight for the audience members. I'll try to bring up a video also. I have a video of these candles so you can see what they look like from side to side here. But let's give away. So what do you want to do? Do we want to give it away? Let's give away one at a time here. We'll ask a question, Meg. And while we look for answers there, I'll also try to bring up the video so people can see how these actually look. But they're really bad. Nathalie Lavoie says, yes, sont belles. They're very beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're really nice.
So let me bring up the live chat. There you go. So you want to do maybe an astrology question, a timing question for the audience? We'll give away the first one here. Let's give away the Beyond Mystic candle first. What would be your question?
What would be my question? Okay. What is the planet that is exactly conjunct the sun of Canada in Canada's chart?
Planet that is exactly conjunct the sun of Canada.
The sun of Canada, which makes it the weirdest country in the world.
Meaning it's unpredictable, right?
Unpredictable. It's going to flip. It's not going to go how we think it's going to go. So it's like about surrendering and just, okay, we're just going to go with the flow of it.
Yeah.
Right. But also going towards freedom. This planet also represents freedom and to cut ties with things taking our power away.
Okay. So while we wait for that to populate in the live chat, Meg, if you want to write that on the side just to make sure I have the right answer to scan for as well. So guys, that's the video that Carla sent me earlier today. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Beautiful.
Like, I love these. Yeah. And so this one, the scent. Oh, yeah. I have to say this one. I love this. Tobacco, vanilla, and bergamot. Like, this is going to be
wow.
I love that. So that's the Beyond Mystic one. And let's go to the live feed again here, too. We'll try to pick a winner. Let's see if we can get to that. Present your screen. There you go. This one here. Okay. So, Meg, let me know when you want me to stop the chat.
Okay, stop.
All right. Vanchick01, Uranus. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Vanchick, you're the winner. Congratulations. So if you go to beyondmystic.net, top of the page, send us a tech support form. Let us know you're the winner of this candle for tonight, and we'll get Carla to send that out to you. Next, of course, is the Ascending Ravens one. There you go. So, hold on. Let me change that for you guys. There you go. So, do you have a question now, Meg, for the Ascending Ravens candle?
For the Ascending Ravens candle. What? Okay, I'll do another astrology question, maybe. What? Because I can't think of any other kind of question. What sign is the planet Uranus going to be entering in Western astrology on July 7th, which is going to really change the vibe and help things move forward really fast.
Okay, so ask the beginning of the question again. What sign?
What astrological sign is the planet Uranus entering starting on July 7th.
Okay. I want to write that on the side for me. And guys, this is the video here, the beautiful candle. And what's this? Sandalwood. Hold on. Let me try to get that screenshot. Sandalwood, patchouli, and clove. Oh yeah. This one too is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let me go to the live chat here. See if I can change the screen for this one. So remove. Yes, present. Let's go back to this one. A lot of stuff going on tonight here. There you go. Okay, so I think I'm on the right one. There you go. At the screen. Why is that not working? This one? It's doing that same thing again. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so let me go to the bottom of the chat here. Wait first. And then, let me know when you want me to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Rosie Thorne, 8847, Gemini. That's correct, right?
Yes.
All right. Rosie Thorne, congratulations. You're the winner of the Ascending Ravens candle. So if you go to beyondmystic.net, top of the page, just send us an email there and we'll get that to you. And last but not least, we're giving away this beautiful Ascension Organized Pyramid Protection, the beginner series tonight also here. So I'll ask the question for this one. So in that chart that I showed from Cliff High with the emotional data graph for this year, which month was the 102 emotional value on? Which month was the 102 emotional values on? So if you were paying attention in the beginning of the show, you'll be the winner here. All right. So while we wait for that to populate, also, I just want to remind you guys to please consider checking out the new Coffee and Chats with the Beyond Mystic team here on the Academy. This is a weekly call, half an hour with all of our teammates here, one after the other. Of course, we're doing this on rotation on our schedule to where you guys can get to ask questions one-on-one. We could talk about where things are going and where Beyond Mystic is going, how we're adding products, and taking in your input also to make our products even better on the site. But generally speaking, also just a wealth of information from all the people you see on the screen there, being able to access them, whether that's, how to get through getting out of the matrix and getting into the woo, questions like that, and just, going through some of your struggles and maybe taking the benefit of the experience of the people on the screen there to you. So there's a lot of value to that. And it's a tight community. It's a smaller group. And it's really fun. Have you had the opportunity to do your coffee and chat yet, Meg?
I have, a couple of weeks ago.
How'd that go?
It was nice. People really enjoyed the time together and people making new friends in there from, meeting people in their local area or in the same country. So really good for us to be connecting with like-minded community, and good way to do it in the coffee and chats.
Yeah. And I think eventually also it'll lead to, this came out, of course, of the conference where Janine and I were having conversations, sitting on stage, kind of like in a coffee and chat mode. And everybody's like, dude, you guys should do this every week. Like, this is great, right? So we kind of had the opportunity to share a little bit more on the private side of things, how we got to where we are today, our trials, our tribulations, and hopefully people can, get benefit from all of that. And they said, yeah, we'd love to be part of these chats here on a weekly basis. So check it out, guys. It's available now on the beyondmystic.academy page. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So let's go back here and look at the screen. So let me know when you want me to stop the feed here, Meg.
Okay, stop.
My cursor is on Jackie D 28 October. That's correct. That is the month with the high emotional peak values. Congratulations, Jackie. Again, if you go to beyondmystic.net and you go to the top of the page here at the About section, just fill out the tech support form here and let us know you're the winner. While you're there, check out the schedule for the week. Lots of great shows here coming up. I'm not sure about the Wacky Woo on the Sunday. I'm not sure if Coco's confirmed that or not, but anyways, by tomorrow, it should be on the screen there. So go check it out to see what's coming up in the next couple of days. So Meg, before we go, was there something else? Like, I have quite a few more things on. I wanted to talk to you about the Pope too. Like this whole, there's too many things happening at the same time. I don't know. We want to talk about Alberta. Okay. Choose a segment from you here. If there's anything burning right now you want to talk about, let's get into that first, and then we'll round it up and maybe give you more advice before we go.
Anything burning?
Burning.
I don't even know. I feel like there's so much. And is there anything burning for you? I'm excited for the P. Diddy trial. I feel like that's going ahead. I hope Justin Bieber survives. Sorry, my Scorpio's coming through, but I have this weird psychic feeling that he might be getting killed. I don't want that to be the case at all, but I feel like there's going to be so much drama, so much outing with that trial, and it's about to start.
Somebody says, what's burning? Blue Flame says, the Pope is burning. Yeah, probably. And you know, it was funny because when they brought him out on the casket, they had this black, like, kind of bruise. It was like, what the hell just happened there? Like, they, you know, and Cliff High says, yeah, because he fell and he died months ago. And this is the bruises because he was in the freezer for a couple of months and they just brought him out now to say he died. That's part of it, probably, most likely. Like, it's a crazy story, man.
It's
nuts. My God. Yeah. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. There's more, of course, and we'll be back in the next couple of days with more shows. I think that's a good show for tonight. We did quite a good. So let's end on this. What it appears to be between the emotional values on the chart and the erratic, unconventional nature and surprises that might be hitting us. It's kind of hard to map a terrain when you don't know what to expect, right? So, for example, in the last 4 or 5 years of COVID, we kind of knew where the shots were coming from. We kind of knew every fall season, the mask season, so we knew, we kind of knew how to navigate this stuff because we knew where things were coming from. It feels like this year, we have no fucking idea where anything's going to come from, whether that's the ETs, the financial stuff, the Diddy stuff, all of the above, people going berserk and, zombies on this.
Right.
So to speak. It's kind of weird. Like, people are asking me, well, how do I navigate this year? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I know a big part of it is maybe taking a step back, making sure I'm prepped, I'm ready, maybe watching it from afar, not taking it personally, spending a lot more time in nature, a lot less time, in front of these devices. I think that would be good advice. But what do you say? Like, is there something in the astrology also that is conducive to a specific energy on how to navigate these times ahead of us? And I'll say the next 6 months for now.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, when it comes down to it, especially with astrology, there's so many different layers to it. And if I could just bring up a chart, JC, just for a moment to show people in the chart, different astrologers work differently. But for me, when it comes down to it, the most important thing in the current astrology is what we call the North Node, which is the calculated point where the solar eclipses happen every 6 months. And the North Node represents whatever sign it's in at the current time is our current focus, our current purpose, our North Star, if you will. That's what my mom calls it.
Yeah.
So right now, since the end of January, and we'll have it until, I believe, July 2026, the North Node is in Pisces. And Pisces is the last sign in astrology. It's spirituality. It's spiritual practices, it's prayer, it's meditation, it's sacred sites. So what can we do during these times is, yes, we want to be grounded. Okay, we don't want to be airy-fairy. The dark side of Pisces is to be completely not grounded at all. It's that balance between being here physically, but also opening up spiritually, raising your vibration, whether you do that through prayer, meditation, going out in nature, spiritual development. If you're watching Beyond the News, if you're a regular listener, you're probably doing that on a regular basis. Pisces is also sound healing. So I would say, remember your spirituality. And like you said, JC, at a certain point, we need to turn the screens off because there's only so much information we can take in one day. And we need to do things that feed our soul. So I think it's good to ask yourself what feeds your soul, what makes you feel like you're in a high vibration. For each of us, that's different things. Do you want me to pull some cards on that too?
Sure.
Okay.
Nathalie Lavoie saying also breath work here too. Yeah, whether it's that, the breath work, you guys go check it out. There's products on the Academy. Also, Meg just launched a new part 2 of opening up the psychic senses with Janine.
Yep.
If you're feeling that these are coming up inside of you and you don't know how to manage them yet, go check out those workshops. There's a lot there for you. And of course, this is, I think, the navigating of this crazy world becomes better and better the more you're listening to universe and the more that you're in tune with your own psychic senses. So that part of the workshop is so critical right now for anyone. And you don't need any prerequisites, but listening to the success stories, the life experiences of both Meg and Janine on that front, might help you tap into all of that for yourself. And then you become that light and that way shower, not just for yourself in your life, but also for your friends and family. So check out those workshops. Also, a great point, Natalie, also in the chat. All right, so let's pull some cards here. Well, how specifically did you frame the question?
Yeah, I just asked, what does the universe want us to know at this moment in regards to where to focus our energy, like you said?
Okay, very good.
And that's interesting because we got a very kind of Piscean card. I talked about the North Node being in Pisces. Temperance, which is healing. It's a card about healing and healing energies. And also the Queen of Swords with it, which is about mental acuity, clarity, learning new things, intelligence. So I feel like this is a time where, and I know this is something, okay, we talk about it, but it's a lot harder to actually do it. Like, this is actually time to do a healing course, or to maybe see an energy healer on a regular basis, to maybe learn new, Queen of Swords, learn new information about different ways to heal. Okay, for each of us, we're all different. So maybe you've taken a Reiki course, maybe you've taken emotional codes. I mean, there's so many different things, JC, but that hasn't helped you with whatever it is you've got coming up to the surface. We've got the Emperor reversed, because a huge theme right now is where our power has been taken away. It's very important for us to find healing modalities to deal with the places that we took our power away, so that we can become the upright emperors, right? Aries card, the warrior, the way shower, the pioneer, to be fearless, to be activated, to be energized, moving ahead, moving forward. So this is a huge time of healing. And again, for different people, that will be different things. For me personally, I love QHHT. I do that a couple times a year. And that's my time, a couple times a year, where I go really deep and I go into huge like healing mode. And I take a few days around whenever I do that and just kind of take off and integrate. For everybody, it's different kind of things, right?
You know what I've added recently? So, of course, I work out, I'm big on all these supplements. I try to sleep better. I meditate, all these things. And somebody's saying, yeah, go check out Jansen's meditation. Yes, those are really good too on the Academy. And somebody's saying, hey, I'm looking forward to this. Is it this Sunday, Psychic Senses?
It's this Sunday, the Psychic Senses. Yeah.
Oh, great. So people can still register and go live with you guys. Okay, let me bring that poster back up then. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah. So opening up the Psychic Senses, this is level 2. Of course, if you haven't seen level 1, you can still do level 2 this Sunday and then come back and do level 1, right?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, check that out on the Academy. But yeah, I added chiropractor to my list. And I did that for the first time. So Sarah's been doing that for a while. And she was like, oh, you should try this, JC. You should try this. I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And I'm just like, okay. So I went to see this guy, and it was funny. Like, first of all, it surprised me because I had never had an adjustment before. So I was a little bit stiff. And so I'm stiff from the working out and my muscles recovering and all that stuff too. But I'm stiff because I work in a chair all day long, all this stuff, right, too. So at any rate, and I hadn't seen a chiro all my life. And so I did the first adjustment. And dude, like, I felt like a buzz after that.
Wow.
Like it was kind of like maybe having a quick glass of wine or beer. Like, not euphoric, but it had like, I felt very different after that. So it was really cool. And the guy says, he says, why are you doing this? Are you in pain anywhere? I says, no, I'm just looking at adding things to my life for longevity, for health, for prosperity. I just want to add to my repertoire of things that I can do to take care of this body during all of this crazy times. And it's like, wow, man. He says, I wish more people thought like that, because most people get here after they've done all of this damage, and then we have to go back and fix the damage first. You just needed a quick alignment, and right away your energy centers are kind of like, you're ready to go, and you should be good for another couple of months. Anyways, I thought that was really cool. So guys, check it out too. I don't know if that's something that that could be beneficial for you. And my brother told me, he says, oh yeah, I've been doing that forever. And he says, these guys are not bone doctors. They're nervous system doctors. Like, they reset your nervous system and your alignments and all that. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. So I thought it was really cool. So guys, check it out. I don't know. Have you ever had a chiro adjustment, Meg?
No, but what is it that I've been doing lately? Not craniosacral. Something. One of Jens's friends here does some kind of massage, and these alternative massages, which are really ancient forms of massage. that is such a, which I don't know if chiropractic, is that a form of massage or that's something different?
No, it's
that's-
really just like pressure. They look at your spine, they do a first analysis where you're at. And for me too, it was funny because I had one leg that was just a little bit shorter. And my leg's not actually shorter, but something in my spine and my nervous system was like crunching my back. So it was like pulling and not making me aligned, right? And it was funny because he just touched a couple of points on my back without cracking me. And then suddenly my legs were the exact same length again. Wow. So he said, "See, it's just a nervous system thing to where it's pulling on some reason for a side." And so, anyways, then we did the cracking thing. It was just like, "Ow!" I was not expecting that. And this guy's like I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", like I'm a big guy, and this guy's trying to manhandle me on the table to put me in these positions to crack me. Oh, anyway, somebody says JC got unlocked. Yeah, I got unlocked. Yeah. Somebody says the energy flows were coming back. Yeah. So, anyways, I was just guided eventually. I was like, yeah, I need to add this. And it worked out well for me. So, again, do your own research. I'm assuming just like everything else, there's good practitioners and some that are not as good. So, watch out for that stuff and make sure you have a reputable one with good reviews and stuff like that. But, yeah. Anything generally speaking to add to this body, I think it goes back to what Cliff was saying, like strive to survive 2025. There's so much ahead of us, so much unknown, so much weird shit. Everything you can do on a daily basis to put yourself a little bit ahead of the game in terms of being able to adapt to anything, whether that's your stress, the load on your body, the load on your physical, mental state. Do those things now while you can and enjoy it. Like spend time outside, spend time with your loved ones, your dogs and all that too. Like, yeah. And again, this election thing, like I thought I'd be more upset about it, but I was like, it's probably.
I feel the same.
Yeah.
I feel the same. I was watching, it was like 4 or 5 in the morning here and I was sick and I was just on the couch. And I was like, and I was watching all the votes coming in. I'm like, no. But I kind of passed through it quickly and just having the same feeling, excuse me, as you of, no, there's something really positive that this is lining up. There's so many of us that have been praying for this as Canadians and people all over the world praying for Canada. If this wasn't meant to happen, it wasn't going to happen. So it's here, it's happening. We're going to deal with it. We're going to ride this wave and enjoy this show because it's going to be weird. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. And guys, if you need a little bit of help.
Triều đại quân không tiếc tài lực từng bước bố trí công sự, từng tầng vây quanh, phong tỏa tất cả đường giao thông hiểm yếu. Hắn muốn dẫn một chi khinh kỵ quay mã thoát khỏi vòng vây của ta cũng dễ như trở bàn tay. Hàng mày đen nhánh của Đức Ni sẽ trong lại. Ta hiểu, cho dù quốc gia của chúng ta nhỏ, một đội ngũ phản loạn rất nhỏ, tiếp tục bao vây, tiêu trừ cũng tương đối khó khăn. Tuy nhiên, đến bây giờ, bọn họ đều lén chạy trốn khắp nơi. Sợ là sẽ tạo nên phiền phức không nhỏ cho quốc gia. Dương Lăng hôn lên má nàng, khẽ cười nói. Cũng không hẳn như thế. Nếu như có thể lợi dụng thật tốt cuộc chiến, thiệt hại tạo ra chưa chắc đã bằng lợi ích. Dương Lăng nháy mắt nói. Bạc trên tháp cát, chúng ta cùng Đoá Nhan Tam Vệ và Nữ Chân Tam Bộ đã kiến tập nên liên minh chiến lược, đồng thời kéo hai bên giao dịch với nhau. Xem như điều kiện trao đổi, chúng ta đã lập nên rất nhiều nông trường khổng lồ ở Liêu Đông. Đánh giặc qua, chúng ta thừa cơ phát triển thủy quân lớn mạnh, kiến tạo chiến thuyền và pháo bia mới, nắm trong tay hơn 100 kẻ trộm lưu lạc trên các đảo của Đông Hải, cho Lưu Cầu đóng quân, bắc khống Đông Doanh, nắm trong tay Hoàng Hải, Đông Hải, bảo đảm thông thương đường biển, trợ giúp Mãn Đản Gia và Phật Lang Cơ đánh nhau một trận, Hạt Di Châu, khống chế Nam Hải, đóng quân cho Mãn Đản Gia, bất cứ lúc nào cũng có thể vươn thế lực ra Ấn Độ Dương, đồng thời đẩy mạnh giao lưu với hai phía Đông Tây, giao lưu buôn bán sắp tới, còn muốn giao lưu và dung hòa văn hóa Đông Tây nữa. Cho dù Bình Định đô Trường Man ở Tứ Xuyên, nhưng cơ hội bộ lạc hơn 100 năm lại đây không ngừng tác loạn này đã hoàn toàn tan rã. Dùng chiến lược của 3 tỉnh Vân Quý Xuyên khống chế nơi sung yếu nhất của Tự Châu, đồng thời đe dọa được 15 vị tổ ti ba tộc càng ngày càng ương ngạnh, thúc đẩy triều đình thay đổi những chính sách cố hữu dễ khiến các dân tộc tranh chấp. Nếu chiến tranh chỉ có đánh thật thống khoái, chỉ có thắng lợi trên chiến trường, đó mới thật sự là thất bại. Tướng công của nàng bình Bắc Đỗ, bình Hải Đảo, bình Giặc Oa, bình Nam Man, bình Tây Di đều có thu hoạch. Vậy bình Phỉ thì sao? Có chỗ nào tốt? Nam tước Hải Đạo xinh đẹp các hạ, nàng nói thử xem. A Đức Ni cười nói tự nhiên, ôm eo Huy lười biếng nói: Chàng à, ở bên chàng người ta mới không muốn hao phí đầu óc vì mấy tên phỉ này chứ. Hơn nữa đối với Đại Minh chàng quen thuộc hơn ta nhiều, bây giờ lại là công tước Đại Minh, người ta cho chàng một cơ hội thể hiện, chàng nói thử đi. Dương Lăng bị sự quyến rũ động lòng người của nàng chọc cười, nhéo nhẹ một cái rồi mới mở miệng. So với những cuộc chiến tranh ấy, Bạch Kích Quân hưởng mã đạo tác loạn lần này tuy có chút lý do cá nhân, nhưng bọn họ có thể có được một đội ngũ lớn như vậy, không thể không khiến người ta lo nghĩ xa xôi được. Loạn Sơn Đông, căn nguyên là do Hà Bắc. Loạn Hà Bắc, căn nguyên là do triều đình. Do triều đình nảy sinh từ thể chế. Đây mới là gốc rễ của phản loạn. Không giải quyết gốc rễ này, cho dù ta đánh trăm trận trăm thắng, giết hơn 100 vạn người, cũng chỉ là biện pháp không triệt để, trị phần ngọn mà không trị phần gốc. Cho dù Lưu Lục chết rồi, Dương Hổ cũng không còn nữa. Nói không chừng là xuất hiện ngay một Lưu Lục Dương Hổ mới. Giết lưu tặc không dứt, người chịu khổ trước sau vẫn là dân chúng. Chỉ có giúp củi đáy nồi, thanh trừ tệ nạn đã kéo dài lâu ngày cho dân chúng có con đường sống, mới có thể chân chính hoàn thành việc bình ổn lưu tặc đắc loạn. Nhưng muốn trị tận gốc, nói dễ như làm. Nó sẽ chạm đến lợi ích hiện hữu của cả giai cấp thống trị Đại Minh. Giai cấp này bao gồm công hầu, quân khanh, đủ loại quan lại trong triều, thần sĩ thiên hạ, thậm chí cả phiên vương thế gia. Nhà quyền quý các nơi, cho dù là hoàng đế cũng sợ không chống lại sức mạnh khổng lồ đến như vậy. Nhưng mà cảnh hỗn loạn do phản loạn lưu tặc, người hứng chịu cuối cùng không chỉ là bách tính bình dân. Toàn bộ giai cấp thống trị tít nắp trên cao đều đã xúc động vô cùng. Bọn họ đương nhiên sẽ ý thức được, nếu muốn có ổn định và hòa bình lâu dài, đạt được lợi ích dài lâu, nhất định phải đem đến lợi cho dân. Như nhau dùng những cách có tác dụng xoa dịu mâu thuẫn xã hội. Rất nhiều thói quen lâu ngày, chế độ xưa cũ bình thường khó có thể lay động, giờ lại giải quyết được dễ dàng. Dương Lăng thản nhiên cười nói thật ta đánh quá nhiều trận chiến như vậy. Trong chiều hao phí tâm tư thực hiện một số cải cách, vẫn chưa bao giờ chạm tới vấn đề thể chế Đại Minh. Lần này là một cơ hội tốt, một trận hay. Với ta mà nói, mới là trận chiến quan trọng nhất. À đừng đi, chiến trường chân chính của ta không phải ở đây, mà là ở trong triều. Đánh thắng một trận ấy, ta mới thực sự giành được thắng lợi. A Đức Ly ngẩng đầu lên, đôi mắt sáng nhìn Dương Lăng, chợt phát hiện có một chút hứng thú xa lạ. Ánh mắt này trong sự cơ trí cương nghị mang theo chút quyết đoán, sát phạt tàn nhẫn. Khi bàn về chính sự, y không hề mang chút tình cảm cá nhân nào, chỉ bình tĩnh lo lắng đến vấn đề lợi ích lâu dài. Đây hẳn là một người có tố chất của một chính trị gia tài ba. Chàng ấy thật sự không có đủ sức một trận chiến toàn diệt Bạch Y quân, vẫn cố ý tung tin phỉ gây loạn, trong hỗn loạn thúc đẩy việc thi hành những chính sách của chàng nhằm mục đích đạt tới lợi ích chính trị lâu dài hơn. Trong lòng A Đức Nhi đột nhiên hiện lên ý niệm con đường này, lập tức thầm tự trách mình. Sao ta có thể nghĩ như thế? Không phải đâu. Dương vĩnh viễn không là một chính khách ác nghiệt. Chàng chỉ khéo léo dẫn dắt, lợi dụng triệt để những nhân tố bất lợi, không thể ngăn lại, biến thành những sáng tạo có ích mà thôi. Dương Lăng cũng không nghĩ tới ý niệm đã vòng vo nửa ngày trong lòng A Đức Ly, lại có thể biến trong chốc lát, đã tưởng tượng hắn thành một chính khách máu lạnh. Cõi lòng hắn chan chứa một cảm giác ấm mát dịu êm, nhưng là vì những tính toán nghĩ ngợi của riêng mình lúc này. Càng muốn tiền đồ sáng lạn, trong lúc hưng phấn, hai tay nhẹ nhàng an ủi như một hành động theo bản năng. Hắn không có suy nghĩ hay ham muốn gì. Về mặt A Đức Ni đã đỏ hồng, dần dần thở dốc. Dương Lăng vẫn không nhận ra, tủm tỉm cười. Nàng không tưởng tượng được, cũng không thể trách nàng triển khai chiến tranh tốt, có thể thúc đẩy chính trị, khoa học kỹ thuật, kinh tế nữa, ta cũng từ nước Mỹ. Từ mỗi quốc gia có những cuộc chiến tranh trong lịch sử mà tìm tòi học hỏi điều này. Lâm Chiến không hoảng, ra sức hóa giải cái bất lợi thành cái có lợi. Từ trong hỗn loạn sáng tạo ra điều kiện lại có thể giảm thiệt hại chiến tranh xuống mức thấp nhất, thậm chí mang lại lợi ích xa hơn cái hại nhất thời. Chiến tranh là cuộc vận động và tiêu hao thực lực của một nước. Để đối phó với chiến tranh, lập kế hoạch cho tốt, có thể gia tăng của cải, là động lực kéo nền kinh tế quốc dân phát triển. Không tính toán thì sẽ dẫn đến hiếu chiến vô độ, hại nước hại dân. Nói ví dụ, cảng Thiên Tân là một trong 3 cảng được triều đình mở thử nghiệm, nhưng phương Bắc chưa mở cửa phía Nam. Đội ngũ có lợi nhất phần lớn là giai cấp địa chủ. Đối với chuyện này vẫn giữ thái độ chống đối, cho nên cảng Thiên Tân cho tới nay vẫn có tác dụng như quân cảng. Loạn bại nghị quân khiến giao thông đường bộ Nam Bắc bị cắt đứt, đường sông cũng chịu ảnh hưởng. Nhưng bây giờ trên biển vẫn yên ổn, có thể nhân cơ hội mở rộng quy mô đường biển. Đợi khi mọi người nếm thử vị ngọt của nó, mặc dù chiến tranh đã kết thúc, nó vẫn sẽ tiếp tục náo nhiệt. Dựa vào việc chính lệnh của triều đình không thể thúc đẩy, vậy thì càng dễ dàng thực hiện hơn. Bách tính Sơn Đông bỏ đỡ việc cày cấy vụ xuân năm nay, nhờ lương thực chuyển từ bên ngoài tới mới giúp họ miễn cưỡng chống chọi được đến tháng 10. Sang năm thì phải làm sao? Hiện giờ nạn dân chạy đoạn, không đất đai, không tài sản, muốn trở về cũng không có cách nào để sinh tồn. Ta sẽ đề nghị với triều đình định ra một số chính sách ưu đãi, đưa những dân chúng coi gia viên thổ địa như tính mạng. Không dễ dàng đồng ý này, xa xứ tới Quan Đông. Người Hán bạc nhược ở Liêu Đông. Năm ấy, Thái Tổ Hoàng đế bắt người Sơn Tây đến Sơn Đông trú ngụ. Bây giờ lợi dụng tình thế bất lợi này, bách tính chẳng những không phản đối, ngược lại còn cảm kích triều đình đã mở cho bọn họ một con đường sống. Đồng thời vùng Sơn Đông, Hà Bắc, Hà Nam, rất nhiều nhà giàu và địa chủ phá ra bỏ mình. Rất nhiều vùng đất hoang, lưu dân an cư trong cảnh chiến loạn, thi hành tân lương, công thương cũng trở nên dễ dàng. Về phương diện quân sự, chế độ mộ lính vẫn không thể hoàn toàn thực thi quán triệt, dân loạn hoành hành gần trong gang tấc. Vệ sở quân thối giữa vô năng, hoàn toàn bại lộ trước đám quyền quý ở Kinh Sư. Bộ binh muốn bỏ chế độ mộ lính, dần dần hủy bỏ vệ sở quân cũng